warm Wednesday after the rains came down last night, and just outside before I got in here, it looked like it was going to rain again, and so we just all need to be very careful wherever that we find ourselves. But again, we're back here for Good Afternoon Ghana. This is where we discuss the major issues, and we're on till 2 p.m. as always. My name is Desmond Okrekudanzwa. The program is live on Facebook at Metro TV Ghana, also on DSTV channel 277, and you can listen to us live on 94.1 FM, and of course on our website www.metrotvonline.com. This afternoon coming up, we'll bring to you the news updates, and then after that we get to talk about the whole conversation about the Damang mining lease. It has sparked a lot of conversations, and today we will be engaging Dr. Steve Mantiao on this particular issue. He is the co-chair of the Ghana Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative. We'll be speaking to him about this because there have been questions being raised about the procurement processes for this particular mining lease, whether it went through the right channels and all of that. We'll get to interrogate that from Dr. Steve Mantiao. And then later, we talk about an incident that happened in Tamale a few weeks ago that involved renowned Ghanaian artist Ibrahim Mahama, not the president's brother, Ibrahim Mahama, the artist Ibrahim Mahama, and alleged assault on him by some police officers in the Northern Regional Capital a few weeks ago. We want to know from him what's been the update so far. Remember that last week or so, my colleague Vanessa Dotomboating was at the police headquarters where Ibrahim Mahama met officials of the Ghana Police Service on the way forward for this particular situation, and so we would ask of him what has been so far. And then we talk about the Parkinson's disease. We're going to be talking about that because we need to educate ourselves on what this disease is about, and so we'll have our guests come in studio to help us understand what this disease is about. So these are the conversations coming up on the show today. So do want to stay with us, and of course on our social media handles, we're live on there. On Facebook, it is Metro TV Ghana. We're also on X Metro TV Ghana, and Instagram, TikTok, Metro TV GH. We are live on there also. And then hopefully we could open the phone lines also so you can join in and share your thoughts with us here on the show. So this is what we'll be doing on Good Afternoon Ghana today. So stay with us. For now, Natasha Jamra is standing by with the latest news updates. Hello, Natasha. Good afternoon. How are you doing?
Fine, thank you.
I'm okay.
For Wednesday morning.
Yes, I love the weather today. Yeah,
yes.
Really, really nice. But of course, when you wish for the rains, then you'd have to get ready for all that happens when it rains in our city. Yeah, so let's all be careful out there. So take us away with the news updates.
You're watching Newsbeat on Good Afternoon Ghana. My name is Natasha Jamra. Here are the headlines. President Mahama nominates 5 individuals to serve on Ghana's Fiscal Council role in promoting transparency, accountability, and prudent economic decision-making. NPP holds National Executive Council meeting chaired by flag bearer Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. We will bring you live updates. On today's episode of Good Afternoon Ghana, we will engage Natural Resource Governance advocates on the award of Damang mining lease to ENP. Now let's get into the details. President John Dramani Mahama has nominated 5 individuals to serve on Ghana's Fiscal Council. The nominations, announced in a statement issued by Felix Kwakye Ofosu, spokesperson for President and Minister for Government Communications, on Wednesday, April 8, are part of efforts to strengthen fiscal discipline and enhance oversight of public finances. Now, the chairperson, the members for the Fiscal Council are Dr. Emmanuel Tinkuma, who is the chairperson, a rep from academia, who is Professor Patrick Opoku Esumin, A rep from research think tank, Leslie Dwight Mentor, a former public policy expert from Ministry of Finance, J. Kweku Bedu Ado, and a former policy expert from the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Henry Kofi Wampa. Now let's move to transport. VIP Transport Company Limited has announced a nationwide increase in transport fares, with the new charges taking effect today, April 8. Management has attributed the recent increase to rising operational costs and the resumption of a previously suspended fare adjustment. The company says the adjustment applies to both its standard tour and executive coach services across major routes from Accra to several destinations nationwide. Under the revised fare structure, passengers using standard services will pay 120 cedis from Accra to Kumasi, 170 cedis to Sunyani, and 290 cedis to Tamale. Fares to northern destinations have also been adjusted, with trips from Accra to Bolgatanga now costing 330 cedis, while bound passengers will pay 320. Executive coach services have similarly seen upward revisions. Passengers traveling from Accra to Kumasi will now pay 150, while fares to Sunyani and Tamale have been increased to 200 and 360 cedis respectively. For longer routes, the company has set fares at 420 cedis from Accra to Navrongo and 430 to Boko. Intercity fares from Kumasi have also been revised, with passengers paying 210 cedis from Kumasi to Tamale and 250 cedis to Bolgatanga. The general manager at Akabre Frimpong Manso explained that the increment forms part of a routine adjustment by the Transport Association, which was put on hold last year following intervention by the sector minister. He attributed the current upward review to high maintenance costs and increased fuel consumption, stressing that these factors have significantly impacted operation.
I said we were going to increase our fares as at March 2025, right? And the minister interceded and said that we had only come into government. So please allow us some time. And gracefully, the directors of VIP allowed a further 6 months, in fact, up to July 1, right? Then we noticed that the diesel had come down. At that time, we didn't increase, but other transport operators increased their fares. So when the diesel came down and they were being requested to reduce their fares, you weren't expecting us to reduce fares that has been in existence since April 2024 in that period 2025.
Frimpong Manso also added that the company continuously reinvests in its fleet to improve service delivery, a move he says ultimately benefits passengers.
The rate at which we do the spare parts, I mean, the drivers who are in charge will tell you something, one of the parts they call Kotodwe. And that Kotodwe, they are changing it every trip. Accra to Kumasi, they will change it. And it costs. Hitherto, if you were cruising on a better road, you wouldn't be changing such parts frequently.
Meanwhile, some commuters have expressed mixed reactions to the new fares with concerns over affordability.
I'm not happy, but that is the talk of the day, or that is what is going to happen. I can't do anything about it. If I have my own vehicle, I will fuel it. The price will increase because they will not say it's my private vehicle, so the fuel will come down for me. No. We all know the fuel will increase, and not for me only, any Ghanaian or every Ghanaian.
If they increase the price, everything, it will affect everything. It will affect school fees, our children's school fees, businesses. We can't even go to the market. Imagine if you always budget for 1,000 Ghana cedis a month. Now that the fare is increased, everything will increase, and you spend more than what you spend daily.
Now, a crucial meeting between the Ghana Private Road Transport Union, GPRTU, and the Ministry of Transport to address rising fuel prices and their impact on transport fares has been postponed. There's more in this report.
The meeting, initially scheduled for Tuesday, April 7, could not take place after the sector minister requested more time to consult cabinet on the issue. Head of Industrial Relations for the GPRTU, Alhaji Abasi Moro, says the union has agreed to give government up to Thursday, April 9, to conclude its internal consultations and communicate a decision. The delay comes at a time of mounting pressure within the transport sector as commercial drivers struggle with increasing fuel prices and operational costs. Meanwhile, private transport operator VIP June Transport has announced a 25% increase in fares across its routes effective Wednesday, April 8. The GPRTU has cautioned that if such increments are approved, other operators may be compelled to adjust their fares accordingly. Transport operators say their next move will depend heavily on government's decision after Thursday's meeting.
Now, fuel prices in Ghana continue to fluctuate, placing increasing pressure on households and businesses. In an exclusive interview, the Chief Executive Officer of the Chamber Bulk of Oil Distributors, Patrick Ofori, sheds light on what is behind the rising cost of fuel prices and what may lie ahead.
The price is internationally benchmarked. So you look at Bloomberg or wherever, and the commodity is being traded. Platts also, you see that today, this is the FOB price for this particular product that you are importing. Then, after having that internationally benchmarked pricing, we also have something we call the exchange rate. The exchange rate is also transparent because whatever you are getting from your bank, you use that to do your calculation. We all know charges and levies, storage facility fees, how much the discharge point is charging. These are all figures that not only you, the importer, knows, but the regulators and industry observers and followers all know how you are arriving at that. So once you get these indicators, you are most likely able to determine the price of the product to the market. Policies that seeks to dwell on a longer term, like increase in domestic refining capacity and attracting investment into the storage space so that government, if government require, or even if private sector take it upon themselves that, well, we intend keeping a certain level of volumes in country, we should be able to have the required financial environment to support such activities. Another thing that this also calls for is public transport investment, whereby the government may be the Ajalolo or the Metro bus also. Government should take keen interest in that, and then the use of maybe rail and other alternative means of transporting the overall.
And the Minerals Commission has rejected allegations of favoritism in the awarding of the Damine mining lease to Engineers and Partners Limited, insisting that the process was transparent and competitive. He said the Commission strictly adhered to established regulations. There's more on this report.
The controversy surrounding the lease award has sparked public debate, with some stakeholders questioning the fairness of the selection process. However, officials of the Commission maintained that due process was followed at every stage, emphasizing that the outcome was based solely on merit and compliance with established guidelines. According to the Acting Director of Legal Affairs at the Minerals Commission, Joseph Iroko, a total of 4 companies submitted bids for the Daman lease under a competitive tender process that was opened to qualified entities. He said after a thorough evaluation, Engineers and Planners Limited emerged as the only bidder that satisfied all the technical, financial and regulatory requirements outlined in the tender documentation. Iroko explained that the evaluation process involved a detailed assessment of each submission against clearly defined benchmarks, including financial capability, technical expertise, operational plans, and compliance with Ghana's mining regulations. The Commission maintains that the rigorous screening process ensured that only the most qualified applicant was selected. He added that the committee was guided by the tender notice guidelines published by the Minister, as per Regulation 258 of the Minerals and Mining License Regulation 2012 LI 217. This is Damai Mining.
Still on the subject, mining manager at Damai Mine, Frank Dinchi Ej, has touted the technical expertise and experience of engineers and planners, adding that they are best fit to revive the mine.
There are other pits further south that in the near future we will have to mine to augment the quantities that we bring out of this pit. It is also important that I mention that to the east of this pit, we further have some material that we have to move to be able to sustain the plant feed. All in all, for our current phases, we are looking at reviving the mine to about another 8 to 10 years of life, beyond the April 17, April 18 lease. Yeah, that's what the potential is. So, in some way, every piece of equipment you see in the pit is for EMP. Why is it important that I mention that the equipment are for EMP? Because this excavator you see here was bought new for this project. Yes, 89, 99, excavator 100. And the drill rigs you see, very new equipment. Every piece of equipment by law should have a unique identity. So when we bring an equipment onto them, just like our vehicle number plates. So when we bring an equipment onto the mine, we give it a unique identity so that we can all refer to that same piece of equipment. And that is why we call this excavator 89. So it only confirms that before this, EMP has brought a number of equipment to this site. And this is about the 89th of the fleet that have come to this and many other sites. Yes. There is also excavator 99, excavator 100, 3 pieces of equipment that are working in this and the other pit. There are at least 5 Panteras, the red machines you see here, that are drilling blast holes, and also 1 other rock commandant that is drilling ahead of us. We have about 7 dozers, all new on this mine, that are working in different areas. And so it is important that if for any reason this project has to be continued, the one that is currently operating here continues. Why? Because you cannot walk into any factory to procure any piece of this equipment in the next 6 months. Nobody manufactures them and stores them. You only have to procure in advance.
Let's take some regional stories, and residents of Chifohiman Lower Densha district have raised concerns over the poor state of roads in the area, particularly the Cocoa Road stretching from Jukwa to Chifopraso. Some drivers who spoke to Metro TV expressed fear over possible road accidents and dust-related diseases as a result of the road. There's more.
Roads in the Chifohiman Lower Densha district and its surrounding communities are in deplorable conditions, causing significant hardship for residents and drivers. The Cocoa Road linking Jukwa to Chifopraso is riddled with potholes and thick dust, leading to frequent vehicle breakdowns and posing serious health risks to inhabitants. Community members and drivers who spoke to Metro TV expressed fears over possible road accidents and dust-related diseases. Residents also highlighted the danger school children face when crossing these roads. According to them, the bad nature of the roads has led to arbitrary increases in fares, making it difficult to transport farm produce to market centers.
because Nanado address almost starting free.
In an interview with Metro TV's Naneje Ampofo, the district's chief executive, Patrick Fiano, acknowledged the challenges affecting road infrastructure in the district.
Notwithstanding, we have feeder roads challenges. So I'm in talk with the feeder roads regional boss in the person of Mr. Brima. And we have taken some roads to him, and he has taken them to Accra for procurement and the contracts awards. Therefore, we can also sit down whilst we are waiting for them. We are doing our best, but our best seems not to be enough. The challenge is we have the great machines, but fuel to power them, it's also another challenge.
Patrick explained that the Jukwa to Trifon Foam Road project dates back to 2012 under the former President John Dramani Mahama. He said the project stalled following a change in government and has remained incomplete since then. He noted the poor road network has hindered development and has affected several projects within the district. He, however, expressed optimism that the current government's Big Push infrastructure initiative will see the completion of the road.
Now, President John Dramani Mahama has called for urgent global action to tackle the growing link between climate change and public health. Speaking at a major international summit in Lyon, he warned that the world is facing increasingly complex and interconnected health threats. That's more.
The catastrophe confronting us is in the waves of the sea, it's in the glaciers, it's in the rainforests, it's in the desert storms. In my own country of Ghana, a blight of disease and pests affects smallholder cocoa farmers, threatening millions of households. Illegal gold mining leads to forest degradation and pollution of our water bodies, threatening the survival of precious populations of birds and insects critical to our biodiversity. At the foundation of all these crises is the phenomenon of climate change. And yes, we realize that everything is interconnected. From the outbreak of infectious diseases to antimicrobial resistance, and from climate-related disruptions to food systems, all these risks converge and intensify in frequency, complexity, and severity than at any time in human history. The One Health approach is thus a practical matter for us in Africa. We've traditionally lived our lives in lockstep with nature. We're an integral part of nature. Still, more than 50% of our population rely on herbs and other natural forest resources for their medicines. Our rich cultural heritage stands as a testament to the wisdom of an integrated approach to healthcare.
And in agriculture, a Ghanaian robotics startup has unveiled a breakthrough machine designed to change the face of farming. The robot, called Field Automation Machinery for Agriculture, was developed to change the face of farming.
In a milestone for agricultural innovation in Ghana, 3Farmate unveiled its inaugural farmer robot, autonomous multi-purpose field machines designed to plant, fertilize, weed and spray crops with high precision and lower chemical use. Speaking to the media, founder and chief executive officer for 3Farmate, Clinton Anani, explained that the idea to build the robot came from the challenges farmers face in Ghana. Labor is scarce and costly, while tractors remain out of reach for nearly 90% of farmers. He stressed that the machine is designed with Ghana's uneven terrain and local farming methods in mind.
We want to make sure that we can place 3Farmate as the industrial backbone for large-scale agriculture, not just in Ghana but across the continent. And so
now, a member of parliament for the Ifijak-Kwabrin North constituency, Collins Adumakomenta, claims that the NDC administration should use the same vigor it used to oppose the NPP to pass the anti-LGBTQI+ legislation. Responding to this, the former managing news editor of the Insight newspaper, Kwesi Pratt Jr., charged Ghanaians who think anti-LGBTQ+ is an issue as a priority to push for it.
Now, what are the facts? As we speak now, there is no bill before the president for his signature.
That's true.
All right?
That's true.
There's no bill before the president.
Could a bill expire with the previous parliament?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So how do you call the president to sign a bill? What bill? There's no bill.
It doesn't exist.
He cannot sign a bill which does not exist.
Yeah.
You understand? So it's strange. Some of these demands are strange. Now, interestingly, the NPP is in parliament. And the NPP can initiate the process now. Why is it not initiating the process now?
We have. The NPP is part of the bill, the private members bill.
New one?
Yes. Members of parliament from the NPP.
So move it in parliament.
We
Why are you holding
it.
press conferences?
I'm telling you, it appeared on the order paper as far back as before even Christmas. It was taken off.
Who took it off?
Leadership. It was taken off.
Leadership.
In fact, the
leadership.
you are aware, the majority leader came on the floor and said that there was an administrative error when there was none. I'm telling the Angbesi, if the president wants to go to...
So is that not where you should be tackling this problem? If you are so committed to passing a bill which makes homosexuality illegal, is that not what you should be fighting then? Are you holding press conferences to call the president to sign non-existent bills?
We are holding press conferences to even push the speaker to make this a priority on the floor.
No problem.
Yes, to make it a priority on
the floor. When you hold a press conference and you call on the president to sign a bill which does not exist,
what are you telling me? The private members bill was brought to parliament.
Has it been passed?
The private members bill was brought to parliament by the majority leader and the majority chief whip to take out the OSP. The president directed that bill to be dropped. That's how powerful the president is. If he wants it done, it will be done. It is just not a priority, and he has said it.
Collins,
I'm telling you.
Please don't surprise me.
No, because I'm not surprising you.
Now let me make
I'm not surprising you at all.
Please, now let me make the point. One of the cardinal principles of this democratic experiment we engage in is the principle of separation of powers. When members of parliament invite the president to interfere in their work, I have a problem. Because it completely undermines that principle, which we claim to be upholding.
Now, President should have had a problem when the president requested for the private members bill on the OSP.
And who said I didn't have a problem?
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Who said I didn't have a problem?
Okay, that's fine.
You understand?
That's fine.
So
that's fine.
When you have a situation now
that's fine.
Where members of parliament who are supposed to protect their independence, who are supposed to respect the principle of the separation of powers and so on, are now inviting the president to lead them in their work, to tell them what to do, then there's a huge problem.
Right.
You understand? And I think we should avoid that kind of situation. For those of you who feel that today, in Ghana today, what is most important is an LGBTQ bill, push it. It is your democratic right. Push it to the final conclusion. You know, insist on the majority leader explaining what he meant by administrative error. If it's not correct, challenge him using all the processes. Fight it. It's your right. You understand? But if you take a posture that everything we didn't do for which the NDC criticized us, and for which we think they got votes to form the government and so on, we would now do, then it seems to me that we are in a stampede to become the new NDC. And that is not, it's not an excellent position to be in.
We don't want to be NDC. We are citizens of Ghana.
Sure.
We are citizens.
Sure.
We have the right to request a certain president to fulfill promises he made as part of their manifesto. I don't think
promises that you disagree with, to all intents and purposes.
No,
so why don't you take
every right as
Massa,
citizens?
Massa, you have every
we have every right as citizens.
No problem.
Yes.
You have every...
Yes.
What would it sound like if you came and said, "Oh, we were right"? When our president refused to sign the bill, he was right. Now the NDC has seen the light, so we actually praise the NDC for recognizing its mistake and so on. That's a different language. That's a different line. It's a different line from coming to say that, oh, we didn't sign the bill. We were wrong. the NDC was right, let the NDC fulfill the promises it made. These are two different statements, two different contexts. Now you have elected to become the new NDC. Oh, we were wrong. NDC was right. So let NDC do what they thought was right in opposition. That's the position you are taking.
Well, we see.
These are two different positions.
I get that. But
yes.
there's a more fundamental issue.
Yes.
Why the change in posture? Why?
When you see...
No, I'm not asking you as a spokesperson for any party, but I'm just asking that if somebody wants to ask, if somebody is asking this question, which is, why has the NDC slowed down?
Legitimate question.
The NDC was in a hurry for something to happen. All of a sudden, it's dragging its feet. What has changed?
That's a legitimate question.
Yes.
That's a legitimate question. You're sitting here. I can remember what Sam George and others did in Parliament.
Yeah.
I can remember the coalitions they built. I can remember the threats which were issued.
Demonstrations.
And the demonstrations. I remember all of that, you know. So I'll be very...
For News Beat, for more news, log on to www.metrotvonline.com. My name is Natasha Jamra. Good afternoon, Ghana still continues.
Right. Thank you very much, Natasha, for bringing us the news updates there. Right. We're going to take a break, but before we do that, if you're ready to win some instant cash, then this is for you. Introducing to you One Shot, the exciting new game from Mona Own Company Limited, now available across all platforms on Ignite Media Group. With one shot, just one shot, you don't need to stress, you don't need to wait. You can play and win instantly. Yes, you can win 50, 100, 200 cedis, all the way up to 500 cedis, just like that. All you have to do is get on the One Shot platform, take your shot with just 5 Ghana cedis, and cash out immediately to win. Minimum is 50 Ghana cedis, up to 500 cedis. You can win all of that. And guess what? In cases where there are multiple winners or ties due to high participation, we take it live. So just with 5 Ghana cedis, you can win for yourself lots of money instantly. So play the game One Shot, and yeah, you can win something for yourself. And this is from Mona Own Company Limited. We're taking a break. When we come back, we continue with the rest of the show. Stay with us.
Every Thursday morning, the spirit of the school come alive. From the marching bands to the dining halls, the fear and the panic stories, the convoys to old students' pride, to unforgettable homecoming moments. Metro TV brings you the School's Homecoming Show live. Relive the glory, celebrate the legacies, reconnect with the memories that shape legends like you. The celebrations, the anniversaries, the homecoming activities, and the legacy projects that you embark in your school. The Metro TV School's Homecoming Show comes to you every Thursday from 9:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. live on Metro TV. This is the School's Homecoming Show live on Metro TV.
They say art is a symbol because man is a symbol. Symbols are a depiction of life. They communicate the intangibles and leaves the mind awakened by the wonders of life. Our folkloric symbol show talks about our symbols in connection to our history, religion, and society's norms and traditions, from the north down to the south and in between.
The animal is called Le. But because they are found on the hill out there, the name of the hill became Le-Bon, which means when you go there, you get more of the Le to hunt or you take them as game.
Join us on our folkloric symbol show every Saturday at 4 p.m. on Metro TV.
What at all does he see in her that he's not seeing in me? Look at me!
Eugene and Anekia made a choice.
You won't believe what Pam and Anekia have done to me.
Abstain. Why abstain?
I have been seeing through your shenanigans all night.
I thought I told you that I didn't want to see that girl in this house again.
I'm sorry, Cinnamon.
over, so get over it.
But still?
Whiny. I like you very much. That's why I brought you this.
Protect me?
Yes, I'm ready to listen to you.
Eugene Clark. That boy. That womanizer.
You are old enough. I would like you to man up to choose among these two.
Now, the baby is baby. So you are coming to come and see.
Sometimes I just sit and then regret what really happened. Take care to prevent pregnancy.
Just stop it. They have to pay for what they've done to me.
Be ready for the storm coming up for you.
The revenge is not necessary.
From finding your dream home to building a legacy for your family, the Homeowner Show has been your trusted guide.
How sure are you what you're getting is the right land? And it has to do with searches, land commission, checking social planning authority, checking everything to make sure that what you are buying is not a problem or a challenge-prone transaction.
The stress of even not owning a house and constantly coughing up to rent is a big issue.
Join me, Hannah Atiasi, and my distinguished panelists as we delve into exciting conversations. Season 3 of The Homeowner Show, every Saturday at 6 p.m., only on Metro TV. Don't just own a house, build a legacy for your family.
Every Thursday morning, the spirit of the school come alive. From the marching bands to the dining halls, the fear and the panic stories, the convoys to old students' pride, to unforgettable homecoming moments. Metro TV brings you the School's Homecoming Show live. Relive the glory, celebrate the legacies, reconnect with the memories that shape legends like you. The celebrations, the anniversaries, the homecoming activities, and the legacy projects that you embark in your school. The Metro TV School's Homecoming Show comes to you every Thursday from 9:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. live on Metro TV. This is the School's Homecoming Show live on Metro TV.
Right, welcome back from the break. This is Good Afternoon Ghana on Metro Television. With me, Desmond Okurikudans. We're live on Facebook at Metro TV Ghana, also on DSTV channel 277 on 94.1 FM. On radio, we're live on there, and also on Multi TV. You can scan and find us on there. Right, so we're getting into a conversation about health. This is a disease that in recent times was made known by Franklin Cudjoe, and that he had the Parkinson's disease, and that was when a lot of people were asking what this disease is about and all that. Today we have a health professional in the studio to help us understand what the Parkinson's disease is, and Dr. Vida Obese is a neurologist from the Komfo Anokye Teaching Hospital. She's joined us here to talk about the disease, the signs, the causes, if it can be treated and all that. There is a World celebration coming up very soon, so it's prudent that we talk about this and educate ourselves on this. Doc, welcome to Good Afternoon Ghana.
Thank you very much.
Right, Parkinson's disease. First off, let me ask about being a neurologist. Right, what does that entail? Maybe I'm mentioning that there's a neurologist there. People are thinking, okay, what does she do?
All right, so a neurologist is a doctor whose specialty is into the brain, the nerves, and your spinal cord.
Oh.
So we take care of every condition that has to do with that, the brain, your spinal cord, and your nerves. And we do have neurosurgeons. They do more of surgery in these three spaces.
Oh, okay, okay, right. So
we handle the medical aspect.
The medical aspect of it. So what was the thing about the brain, the nerves, that people don't know that you want people to know?
A whole lot. But the most important thing is that your brain is the command center of everything that you do. Your ability to speak, your ability to move, your ability to reason, the very essence and core of who you are, your emotions, every control is in your brain. And so brain health is very important.
How do we keep that in shape?
All right. So we have various pillars for brain health, and we look at nutrition. So when you look at nutrition, it's about having a balanced diet. Okay. And anytime you mention balanced diet in Ghana...
Well, growing up, so make sure there's protein, there's all the others.
Yes, the protein, fats, healthy fats, actually. You reduce salt intake.
Okay.
And if you imagine a plate, and you divide a plate into 4, a quarter of it should be your carbohydrate, a quarter of it should be your protein, and your vegetables should form half of your plate. So if you are eating 3 balls of banku, already you've exceeded
the carbohydrates.
The carbohydrate capacity.
Wow. So then I was going to ask, which food do we eat?
So we don't like telling people eat this and eat that, but it's more about the understanding that when you eat, whatever your body requires, your body uses it, and the rest is stored as fat for future purposes. Just in case you don't eat, your body requires some energy as a fuel. It will break down those fats into energy. And so if you take more than your body needs, it will store it as fat in places you don't want, your belly, around your heart, in your vessels, which are problematic. So the healthy way of eating is more of including more vegetables, reducing carbohydrates, eating healthy fats, and eating regularly. Sometimes the challenge is people tend to eat once a day, and then you tend to eat more than your body requires. And that is
once a day.
Yes.
And then that is even more than the body
requires. Because, for example, if you don't eat in the morning and you eat in the afternoon, your ability to restrict yourself in terms of your portion is low. So you tend to eat more than necessary. But that's just about in terms of nutrition. When you talk about brain health, we have exercise.
Right.
So exercise has been shown to be a very powerful protective mechanism by which we help our brains. So whenever we mention exercise, you talk about gym, being in the gym, but walking, brisk walking, 30 minutes 3 times a week is enough exercise for your brain, even around your house. So as you came here, you could have decided to pack off a few blocks away and walk here.
But we use the stairs. so I'm sure that's some exercise for us. Very interesting to know. I think it's one of the areas that a lot of Ghanaians may not necessarily, understand.
Yes, there are several pillars for brain health. Even learning new things engages your brain mentally.
Okay.
Learning a new craft, learning to cycle, travel, do new things that engage your brain mentally to stimulate new neural connections, protects your brain from conditions like dementia and all that.
Okay.
So brain health is very key.
Very, very important. So how does Parkinson's disease come in?
All right. So Parkinson's disease is a neurodegenerative disease, meaning that it's associated with aging and affects the brain.
Okay.
So there's a part of your brain we call the basal ganglia. There we have a part known as substantia nigra, big words. All it does is that it stimulates the release of a chemical known as dopamine.
Okay.
And this dopamine is important and necessary for your movement and emotions and all that. And so when this dopamine production is limited or goes down, you are unable to move. And that is what shows up as symptoms of Parkinson's disease. So patients tend to be very slow because you need the dopamine to be able to move. So they tend to be very slow in anything that they try to do. Even turning in bed, they are slow. And then they have tremors. And their muscles become stiff. So they tend to be very rigid.
Okay.
Yes, that is the pathology, what actually happens in the brain. For some reason that we do not understand fully, those cells that produce dopamine die off, and then this dopamine production goes down.
At a certain age.
So yes, it's neurodegenerative, meaning that it's associated with aging. So seen more in patients who are above, or people who are above 60 years. But we are now, in recent years, seeing people below 50 with Parkinson's disease. And that means that there should be research, especially local, to understand why now younger people are coming up with the disease.
Okay. So with this disease, as you mentioned, it's supposed to be above 60, but now 50, and then it makes it difficult for...
So it's a movement disorder.
So it's a movement disorder.
But then the symptoms, we have two ranges of symptoms. Okay. Symptoms associated with movement, which is the slowness, the tremors, the stiffness in muscle. In advanced stages, their posture becomes unstable. When they are moving, you realize one part, and usually it starts off on one side of the body. So sometimes people confuse it with stroke. But I realize as a person is walking, he's stooped, one side is barely moving. And those are related to movement. And the voice becomes very low and soft. And then sometimes when you look at the person's face, you cannot tell whether they are angry or sad because they tend to have some sort of expressionless face. You can't tell the expression that they have on their face. Okay. It's also muscles. Your muscles are stiff, so you cannot tell that. And that is movement. But we do have non-motor symptoms, meaning symptoms not associated with movement. And research has shown that those symptoms come years before the motor symptoms. So constipation, anxiety, depression, sleep problems, we call it the REM sleep behavior disorder.
So you'd be having a feeling, you'd be having some of these symptoms, as you're saying.
Symptoms years
before
the tremor will show up or the stiffness will show up. And when people, and before COVID, loss of smell was a very early indicator of the likelihood of developing Parkinson's disease. But post-COVID, we cannot entirely use that as an early symptom.
Okay.
And one of the early symptoms too is the handwriting. You realize your handwriting is becoming smaller and smaller and smaller. That's quite early, an early motor sign. So if you look at the symptoms that are not associated with movement, they are quite common.
Okay.
You could have constipation. That doesn't necessarily mean you have Parkinson's disease. But there's a lot of research ongoing to follow people up, especially those with sleep disorders, to see whether they will develop Parkinson's disease
okay.
or not.
Right. With the name and not knowing so much about it, usually people say that we're Abrofoyare.
Yes.
And has it always been with us?
Yes, we believe we've always had Parkinson's disease, But I think the awareness and knowledge about the disease has been low. It's still low, but it's improved over the years because of education. And then I think secondly too, there's a lot of stigma around neurological diseases, epilepsies and all that. So if you have somebody shaking of any sort, no family wants to be associated with that. So people with these problems tend not to show up early in clinic. The other thing is that because it's a disease associated with aging, anybody who is above 60 and is slow, you are likely to say it's because the person is old. But that patient could be suffering from Parkinson's disease. And also as well, because it starts on one side of the body before it may progress to the other side, people tend to assume it's a stroke. And not knowing the difference sometimes delays people from reporting to clinic.
So it starts with one side of the body?
Yes. So it starts on one side of the body. So you have the tremor, the stiffness,
all of those
the slowness on one side. And then when it comes advanced, it can move to the other side as well. The key difference is that in stroke, it's sudden. Because in stroke, what you're saying is that there are pipes through which blood flows through to supply all the regions of your brain. Now, for some reason, if there's a clot or something blocks these pipes, if where the blood supply, for example, the blood is supplying an area that controls your speech, if in a very sudden way there is a blockage, you will not be able to speak. If it controls one side of the body, you will not be able to move that side of the body. So it's quite sudden. But for Parkinson's disease, it's gradual in onset. So that is one key thing to distinguish. If the person has been walking, doing everything, and all of a sudden cannot move one side, it's likely to be a stroke other than Parkinson's disease.
Right. If people start getting the symptoms, right, we talk about others around them and the understanding of it. As you say, some would say that it is a stroke instead
they are drunk,
something like that. How important is it for family, friends, people around, maybe someone who's got those symptoms to be able to say that I need to go to the hospital? That's one of the things that we will wait, and then it eventually kicks in. How often, even with your expertise, how often do people come to the hospital and say that I want to check, I'm having this shaking and all of that? For now, we've done quite a number of educational sessions. We are not the only people. The Neurology Society of Ghana has been leading this course, and we have Parkinson's support groups where patients with caregivers also meet in Accra, in Kumasi, in other parts of the country where this disease is talked about. So sometimes you have caregivers of patients seeing other people in the community with similar symptoms and bringing them to clinic. Last year we embarked on using art as a form of advocacy about the disease, and we trained school children about the disease, because we know a child will talk to the parents, will go to church and talk about it. They have grandparents that they see. And last year we saw a surge in children actually coming with their grandparents to clinic and saying, I think I watched your program on TV and I think my grandfather or somebody like that has Parkinson's disease. It is key that we see neurological conditions just like other diseases. So I'm sure if you see a stroke patient now, because there's been so much education on stroke, we are comfortable seeing people, with stroke, and we empathize with them or sympathize with them. People should see Parkinson's disease the same way. Just like somebody with hypertension and diabetes, you wouldn't say because the person is hypertensive, you treat the person so poorly or stigmatize the person, so the person doesn't report to the hospital to seek care for the hypertension, diabetes, or some sort. So I think it's important that we keep that message going, that Parkinson's disease is one of the neurological conditions. If you come to the hospital early, you can seek early treatment, and there is help available. And so for both caregivers and patients, they should be comfortable bringing patients to the hospital, because that's where they'll be diagnosed. Right. So if you just we're speaking with Dr. Vida Obese. She is a neurologist from the Komfo Anokye Teaching Hospital on Parkinson's disease. She's touched on very, very important aspects of this disease, and we'll get to talk about is this something that could lead to death, you know, and all of that? Then we get into the celebration of the day. So someone has Parkinson's disease, diagnosed of it. What is next?
Okay, so usually you are diagnosed in the hospital, it's clinical, a doctor examines you and thinks you have Parkinson's. The only time we do imaging of any sort is to rule out other conditions that can mimic Parkinson's disease. So I mentioned the basal ganglia. If you have a stroke there, or you have a tumor there, you have an infection there, you can show signs similar to Parkinson's disease, but we treat it differently. So you are diagnosed, then it moves to management. There is currently no cure.
There's no cure for Parkinson's
disease. There is a lot of research worldwide ongoing because Parkinson's disease is the fastest growing neurological disease. So it's globally is a very important disease that the world is trying to find a cure for. But it's a disease for which, for the symptoms that it brings up in terms of the motor problems, the mental health challenges that they have anxiety and depression and all other symptoms, sleep problems, and all that, there's treatment available. Okay. And we always say that treatment is multidisciplinary. So it's not just about coming to the hospital and the doctor seeing you and giving you medication. Actually, the medication that we usually give, which is a levodopa, gives your brain the dopamine it needs because you don't have the dopamine,
in there.
So once you take it, it gives you the dopamine, tremors go down, you have the muscles become more relaxed for you to engage in all the activities you want to engage in. It is progressive. However, Parkinson's disease affects individuals differently. So you cannot say that one person's experience is similar.
It's the same as the other.
No. Every patient experiences Parkinson's disease differently. Every patient progresses differently. So somebody may progress to advanced stages within 10 to 15 years, others 5 years. It affects people differently. But the key thing is that with treatment, people lead their full extent of life. Because if you are being seen by a doctor and all the challenges are being addressed, you have a better quality of life, as opposed to not having any treatment at all. So for all the problems that it gives, you need to be seen by a psychologist because of anxiety, depression. You need to be seen by a nutritionist because you have a lot of constipations that has to be addressed. You need to see a pharmacist because some of these patients already have hypertension, diabetes, other conditions. So you need to know how the medication works with other medications you may be taking. You need an occupational therapist who will reintegrate you in the work that you're doing and make changes in the home. So for example, if you cannot use your hand to do a lot of things, bath, support yourself, they come into your home to show you, put bars and things that will make you more comfortable to live and improve the way you live so that you are less dependent on people. So that's what we are pushing for, a multidisciplinary team seeing these patients. And that would mean that all the care for all these people I've spoken about should be made available to that patient. Okay. It's not enough to just treat the patient with medications. So it's not only medications, exercise is important, and yes, also the psychological support.
This treatment, as you mentioned, you've got to see a lot of people. Quite expensive.
Yes, it is expensive. In lieu also of the fact that some of these patients have other conditions for which they are on treatment for. So if, for example, you're on medications that you're buying already, adding the Parkinson's disease drugs is very expensive. And imagine a hairdresser or somebody who sews having Parkinson's and cannot, because of the tremors, loses that work. The economic burden now falls on caregivers.
Right.
And so they are not able to work. Now the caregivers have to work to support the home. So if you look at the burden, it extends beyond just the patient. And so they have other things, other challenges that are not even in terms of medication per se. And as I mentioned, they have to pay for the care for all these other specialties to see them, for them to have the full complement of treatment. Okay. And so it's expensive. And that's why we are pushing for their medications to be put on the National Health Insurance or the Mahama Cares program to reduce the burden that these patients have to bear.
Do we have a number in terms of how many people have the disease in the country?
previously we had only hospital data that showed that the patients we saw in clinic at neurology clinics, 12% had Parkinson's disease, which we even don't think is a full reflection of what is on the ground. Recently, there's been a study done in the Volta region, which has given us a prevalence rate of about 80 per 100,000 people. So for every 100,000 people, you find 80, which is quite a number to deal with. So yes, and we feel that is not a true reflection of what is on the ground because most people are not being diagnosed.
Okay. Right. So as we get to understand what the Parkinson's disease is, we have the celebration of the day, the awareness creation for the day, I should say. So tell us about that.
So April globally is recognized as the Parkinson's Awareness Month, but the World Parkinson Day is on April 11th. So every year, April is used as a month of awareness creation, patient support.
Okay.
A time to let the patients know they are not alone. A time to stimulate research, more research into the disease, and important for Ghanaians because we need to find the local context to how we treat patients. And so this year, it fell on a Saturday, so we are having a cycling event, which is going to be the first maiden cycling event. Addressing Parkinson's disease awareness, and it's a fundraising drive. So we are having that at Legon Sports Stadium car park.
Okay.
We are inviting all and sundry, whether you're a seasoned cyclist, you're a family who wants a place to come and spend time on Saturday to have fun. Come join us to raise awareness on the disease. Apart from the cycling, there will be other games. There will be health screening, dental screening, and so much more. It starts at 7 a.m. and it ends at 2 p.m.
At 2 p.m. And it's open to everybody.
It's open to everybody. Registration is free.
Okay.
There will be free bikes for those who do not have bicycles.
Who do not have the bicycles but want to partake in that. Doc, thank you very much for coming this afternoon.
Thank you for having me.
And opening our eyes to this disease. And I'm sure this will go a long way to continue the awareness.
Yes.
Yeah, on that. Right. So thank you very much, Dr. Vida Obese. She's a neurologist at the Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital. We're going to take a break. When we come back, Ibrahim Mama joins us, the artist from Tamale. We want to have an update on what has happened. And so we'll be back shortly. Stay with us.
Yeah, welcome to Junction 5 Lounge. Bar, grill, chill.
You know, say me the lot for the whole area. Me to control every street for here. My name is Lord Gaza.
Lord Gaza.
You do hear they mix liquor and things. I beg you, for do what? For gather some vim. Otherwise, I feel gather boys. Beat you up. Baba, they feel me now. I see.
Landlord, I beg this one. I beg you for understand him. Hello. As young people, you need to be able to make decisions that will better your lives.
If you give this money to me, Jane, I would have bought you nice clothes, like look nice, change my nails, like.
On the best oh, lift it. Hey, you do such God answer prayers.
Nanama Ejewa, is this the class you're supposed to be taking?
Please.
Nanama,
please,
is this really happening? What be the source of your word? What's the source of your poverty?
Are you bad days?
Coconut.
Are you bad days?
Coconut that.
Point of correction. I no be Lord Gaza anymore. If you call me Yao. Oh, Brian. Hey, all this we should call you this one. Brian for where?
Well, I'm John Cena.
Hey, see now what I'm doing there. You can't see me.
Your lounge has been placed at number 10. But after today,
number
I think,
10?
Yeah. After today, I think I'll place you guys at number 5, depending on the taste of your food. Yes.
When Ginny scared about a child and said, okay, you're thinking about what? What is going on with you?
You know one thing, you guys are so incompetent these days. Look here, I'm talking to you, you know that's the truth.
Supplies! You're surprised I've surprised you.
Lord Gaza, M-H-O-V, Lord Gaza.
Basu, Basu, they come. I say they lie. Me are they lie. They lie. How the girl feel you?
They say art is a symbol because man is a symbol. Symbols are a depiction of life. They communicate the intangibles and leaves the mind awakened by the wonders of life. Our folkloric symbol show talks about our symbols in connection to our history, religion, and society's norms and traditions, from the north down to the south and in between.
The animal is called le. But because they are found on the hill out there, the name of the hill became Legon, which means when you go there, you get more of the le to hunt or you take them as game.
Join us on our folkloric symbol show every Saturday at 4 p.m. on Metro TV.
Right, welcome back from the break. This is Good Afternoon Ghana with me, Desmond Okrikodas. We're live on our social media platforms. Do what to join us on there, and also 94.1 FM on radio. Our next conversation is with a Guinean artist. He is renowned for his works in the creative art space. And a few weeks ago, he was allegedly assaulted, and the Ghana Police Service has been investigating the situation. And we just want to get some updates from him and on what exactly has happened so far. You'd also remember that he met with the rank and file of the Ghana Police Service to go through what would help with this particular investigation. My colleague Vanessa Rutumbuatan was there and told us what happened on that particular day at the meeting. So there's been some happenings already, but I want some updates on that. And he joins us via Zoom now. Good afternoon. Welcome to Good Afternoon Ghana. How are you doing? Hello, Ibrahim Mama. Hello?
Hello.
Right, I can hear you now. Many thanks for joining us on Good Afternoon Ghana here on Metro TV. How are you feeling?
I'm getting better. I'm healing quite well.
Right, we thank God for that. But really, in as this situation has happened and everything that comes along with it, how's that got into you in terms of your work, everything that you do on a daily basis? How's that impacted it?
To be honest, my work involves quite a lot of traveling. So traveling to give lectures and also traveling for site visits and meetings before major projects are done. And the day before the incident, on the day of the incident, I was supposed to travel the day after, but I had to cancel all those travels because I was meant to go to England to do some teachings across 3 universities, and then to Helsinki and South Africa to teach, because there are a couple of universities that I'm affiliated with that I go to give lectures periodically around the world. So all those things were put on break. And so currently I'm just focused at home because the doctors have advised that I don't travel for now. So I'm just at home, doing the teeth reconstruction, because when the assault happened, 3 of my teeth were a bit dislocated from the roots. So the dentist at the Habana Medical Center in Tamale were helping with the teeth reconstruction, which we haven't finished yet. It will take another 2 to 3 weeks before that is done. So for now, I must say that I'm only just focused on healing and also just taking time to focus on the studio. As you know, Red Clay is a space where a lot of people come all the time, particularly school kids. So I try as much as possible just to spend time at home and also just to focus on what we are doing here.
Right. So I'll get into what's happening at Red Clay also, but just not to really take you back, but just would this be the scariest thing that you've had to go through?
Yes, certainly. You know, sometimes when certain events happen, you actually don't believe that they are happening in the moments when they are happening. But unfortunately, it was happening at the time. And yeah, I did not know what to say to avert the situation because I was sitting in the bus with my uncle. And when the conversation and the exchange started between my uncle and both the civilians who were accompanying the police, the Black Maria, and then the Black Maria team also joined, I realized that this was not going to go well. So I took out my phone to record. And then that is when they started targeting me also as an extra person in the bus. So at the end of the day, I realized that what was going to happen was going to happen. But we're trying just to give them every reason, just even if they thought that we were in any wrong with them at the moment and they wanted to query us, they could have just said, okay, fine, you have to go with us to the police station. But they rather chose to excess force, to use excess force within that moment. So we're trying just to let them know that, okay, fine, if there is anything, you can just tell us to follow us to the station. But they rather broke into the bus, and that's when the assault happened. So me, for instance, we've only just been waiting to hear what the police have to say because the IGP promised us that they were going to get to the bottom of the matter. So we are waiting.
Right. So that's my next question. You met with the IGP here in Accra, and we heard what came out from that meeting. Have you been happy with how it's going? Hello, Ibrahim. Can you hear me? Hello, Ibrahim. Okay. So I think that we've lost the connection to Ibrahim Mahama. He was giving us some updates. So I was asking about the meeting with the IGP and how it went, whether he's been satisfied so far with the investigation process for this. But he's been speaking, and there's a report that we're going to play. Okay, right. So we have him back on. Ibrahim, can you hear me now?
Yes. Yes, I can hear you.
Great. So I'm asking about the meeting with the IGP and, trying to find the solution to this by arresting the perpetrators. Have you been happy knowing that you were in the meeting with the IGP and he promised that it was going to get to the bottom of this?
Yes. But we're patiently just waiting to get an official statement from the police headquarters, which hasn't happened yet. So far, I've seen a few things, videos online and things like that, but those are not official. Those are not official informations. So until the police comes out actually to issue a statement on the actions that have been taken, then we will take it from there. Because there might be different actions that need to be taken. Because so far we have not even discussed the assault itself in terms of the units, the men in the units who committed the assault. So far, they're only trying to find out whether the assault really did happen or not. And then when that is established, then we will go on to the next step.
With that experience also, what does it tell you about the relationship? Of course, we know that the security services are there to protect us. And for the Ghana Police Service in the past few months, we've been seeing a lot of arrests, a lot of works ongoing. But has it given you a certain insight into the police service and how things work? Hello, Ibrahim, can you hear me? Okay. I think we've lost him there. We'll definitely connect with him again when he comes back on. But there's a report by my colleague, and let's play that. When we come back, we'll hopefully have Ibrahim Mahama join us back, and then we can talk about Red Clay and what other things are happening with him. Okay. Are you able to hear me now? We lost you there. Hello, Ibrahim. Are you able to hear me? I can't hear you. Right. So we're going to take a quick time. When we come back, we'll continue with the conversation. Stay with us.
From finding your dream home to building a legacy for your family, the Homeowner Show has been your trusted guide.
How sure are you what you're getting is the right land? And it has to do with searches, land commission, checking social planning authority, checking everything to make sure that what you are buying is not a problem or a challenge-prone transaction.
The stress of even not owning a house and constantly coughing up to rent is a big issue.
Join me, Hannah Atiasi, and my distinguished panelists as we delve into exciting conversations. Season 3 of The Homeowner Show, every Saturday at 6 p.m., only on Metro TV. Don't just own a house, build a legacy for your family.
Every Thursday morning, the spirit of the school come alive. From the marching bands to the dining halls, the fear and the panic stories, the convoys to old students' pride, to unforgettable homecoming moments. Metro TV brings you the School's Homecoming Show live. Relive the glory, celebrate the legacies, reconnect with the memories that shape legends like you. The celebrations, the anniversaries, the homecoming activities, and the legacy projects that you embark in your school. The Metro TV School's Homecoming Show comes to you every Thursday from 9:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. live on Metro TV. This is the School's Homecoming Show live on Metro TV.
They say art is a symbol because man is a symbol. Symbols are a depiction of life. They communicate the intangibles and leaves the mind awakened by the wonders of life. Our folkloric symbol show talks about our symbols in connection to our history, religion, and society's norms and traditions, from the north down to the south and in between.
The animal is called Le. But because they are found on the hill out there, the name of the hill became Legon, which means when you go there, you get more of the Le to hunt or you take them as game.
Join us on our folkloric symbol show every Saturday at 4 p.m. on Metro TV.
What at all does he see in her that he's not seeing in me? Look at me!
Eugene and Anekia made their choice.
You won't believe what Pam and Anekia have done to me.
Abstain.
Why abstain?
I have been seeing through your shenanigans all night.
I thought I told you that I didn't want to see that girl in this house again.
I'm sorry, Cinnamon.
Lost. I've won the battle. Get over it.
Battle?
Why me? I like you very much. That's why I brought you this.
Protect me?
Yes, I'm ready to listen to you.
Eugene Clark. That boy. That womanizer.
You are old enough. I would like you to man up to choose among these two.
Now, the baby is baby. So you are coming to come and see.
Sometimes I just sit and then regret what really happened.
Take care to prevent pregnancy.
Just stop it. They have to pay for what they've done to me.
Be ready for the storm coming up for you.
The revenge is not necessary.
They say art is a symbol because man is a symbol. Symbols are a depiction of life. They communicate the intangibles and leaves the mind awakened by the wonders of life. Our folkloric symbol show talks about our symbols in connection to our history, religion, and society's norms and traditions, from the north down to the south and in between.
The animal is called Le. But because they are found on the hill out there, the name of the hill became Legon. Which means when you go there, you get more of the leg to hunt or you take them as game.
Join us on our folkloric symbol show every Saturday at 4 p.m. on Metro TV.
Welcome back to Good Afternoon Ghana. We're trying to connect with Ibrahim Mama. He's joined us now on phone, so we continue with our conversation. Ibrahim, thank you very much again for staying with us. And so we have this conversation. So I was asking that, well, what's happened, what insights have you gained into the relations with the police and also the operations?
No, thank you very much. Yeah, since it started, I think the professional bureau of the police, they took over the investigation.
Right.
And certainly, I think that they've been doing quite a good job because they've been following up with all the parties involved, both myself, my uncle, the police commander in Tamale, even with DSP Jelly and his team. And then, like just trying to find witnesses here and there in order to take all the statements that would allow them to be able to come to a conclusion regarding the investigation that they've been doing. So certainly from that point of view, at least we know that the police have somehow reasserted the fact that they are working with the law. And then when there is anything, maybe they try as much as possible to get to the root of it. Yeah. But the point is that when things like this happen, we pray and hope that it applies to almost every citizen, because we know that there have been many different cases that have happened over the years. And there are cases which are even yet to happen in the future. So certainly the question is that when things like this happen, which we pray it doesn't happen, but when it happens, how swiftly can some of these things be resolved? So at least it can also somehow reassure the confidence that the public will have within the police service. And for me, I think that's the most important thing that I'm trying to understand and take away from this situation.
Right. It ties in with some of the comments on social media. I don't know if you had time to go through some of them, where people were writing that if this can happen to someone who holds a diplomatic passport from the country, how about others? How did you feel about that?
Yeah, for me in the beginning, that's why I said I couldn't quite believe it was happening, because just before it started, my uncle told them that, oh, you should be quite careful and delicate about the situation, because the person which, at least he was driving us to the mosque and back. So the person which you're trying to possibly assault, he holds a diplomatic passport, so you should be a bit careful. But that didn't seem to mean anything to them. Yeah, and I think there have been many different instances that have happened here just to ordinary people. So when it happened, the question I was asking myself, if this thing could happen to me, of course, you'd have like the regional minister, the police commander, the Metropolitan District Executive, everyone was concerned. They visited me at the hospital and all that. Even when I had to go to Accra, the police funded like the trip, and even like the government is actually footing the bill for the hospital bills and things like that. And then one of the things I asked myself was that, does this happen to everyone that actually goes through these kinds of things? Of course, I'm very appreciative of it, but we've always claimed that we're in a democracy. So when anything happens across board, whether it's not because maybe I have a diplomatic passport or maybe I have international maybe recognition or anything like that, but ordinarily, just to any ordinary person, things like this should not happen. Because when it happens and it somehow takes away confidence from people regarding the police, then it also somehow leads sometimes to civil unrest. That's why when things like this happen, sometimes people don't feel comfortable going to the police. And then you might see that sometimes some people might take the law into their own hands and things like that. And we have to try as much as possible to prevent these situations so that civilians ordinarily also don't think otherwise about the law enforcement agencies. So as long as we have belief in the law enforcement agency, when anything happens, we can go back to them and we can hope that at least justice can prevail.
Right. When the incident happened also, the conversation was the Black Maria. I've heard you say that they didn't exactly touch you, but they looked on as you were being assaulted. Is that right?
It was the Black Maria for sure, the team, but it was the leader, DSP Abdijali, was not part of it. He watched on as it happened. Okay. And of course, certainly his men were acting under his command, because if he wanted it, if he didn't even want it to begin with, he would have told them, don't, just let's find other ways. But he was there, he was out of the bus. The men were doing it. Yeah, so clearly, yeah, if you are a leader of a team and then there is something happening and you don't want it to begin with, you even stop that in the beginning. And for me, in the beginning, it was my worry. This really wasn't even with the team, because when the whole thing started, there were some civilians among them, and it was from the civilians who were driving with them who got down from the car. That is where it started from. Okay. And then the men who were in the police vest joined them. Yes, so the question is that even as we're dealing with this matter, the civilians who were among them, they also need to be accounted for within this justice that we're looking for. Yes, so for me, it's not just a matter of course, and I've said it over and over again, that DSP Abdijali did not physically touch us, but it was his men. DSP Abdijali did not physically touch us, but it was his men. We just want to be able to clarify that, but at least he has to take responsibility for that info. Then we will go on to the next step. Okay.
Tamale is your home. It's a place where you cherish. You're almost always there if you're not traveling to other places. With what's happened, does it change anything about Tamale for you?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't do that. You know, when it happened, I had a couple of friends who reached out to me saying that, oh, and I said, no. I came here, I was born in Tamale in the late 80s, and I was raised in Accra, but I decided to move here because there have been many different people, like my father and many others in the older generation, who decided to make this place their home. Even we have, like, of course, the north of Ghana historically has never been one that is well-to-do. And so when I found myself in the South, like studying, and I realized that my work was going to mean something, not just to the world, but also to the country that I come from. The idea was that why not go to the North and establish it there? Because if you establish it there, the foundations of this is going to inspire a whole new generation. Work. I'm already seeking justice and pushing my work. I'm already seeking justice and pushing new degrees of freedom. Because our Ghana, our motto is freedom and justice. And you always ask yourself, what is free and just about this almost 70-year-old nation state? You know, so the idea is that how do we further push that? And culture sometimes is the answer, because when we're able to do it culturally, then we're able to open up the consciousness of an entire new generation, and it somehow maybe develops a new attitude which they can have to this place that they call their country, Ghana.
As you say, Red Clay still runs. And all that. What's coming up? Is there anything that we should know about Red Clay now?
Currently, we are open. We have a lot of school kids coming here on tours and others, but we are also rebuilding certain historical buildings that we had the privilege to intervene and acquire when they were being destroyed. Even parts of the railway and others, which we collected, salvaged, and we are rebuilding them here. So currently we're focusing on the idea of, I know the President, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, has been working tirelessly on the reparations thing with the UN, which was passed, yes.
Right.
So there are some objects, and including some of these buildings which we're rebuilding, which is very much connected to the conversation of the reparations. Because when we talk about reparations, it's not just a matter of things that are coming from the Western and the outside world. Sometimes it also has to do with things that internally we also can save, and we can somehow, through cultural discussions, we can somehow also revive the discussions within them and connect them to another generation. So we are also trying to see how we can contribute towards that discourse within our own way.
Right. Ibrahim Mahama, of engineers and planners, has there been any clash of names there? I just want to know that.
I know. There's always been a misunderstanding between the two people. But of course, Ibrahim Mahama is my big brother. And I recently met lawyer Ibrahim Mahama, who is like in his 90s. He's the original, I always call him the original Ibrahim Mahama. He was a very prominent lawyer up here in the north. And when I recently met him, he was telling me how he and His Excellency John Dramani Mahama's father, E.A. Mahama, used to be in the same office building in Tamale back in the 50s. And then before Ibrahim Mahama was born, Ibrahim Mahama's mother asked him whether he could name him after him. So Ibrahim Mahama is actually named after this original Ibrahim Mahama. I happen to bear that name. So we're coming from different families, but we are all connected because we're all coming from the north and coming from the same ancestry, Biwa ancestry.
Thank you very much for speaking to us on Metro TV. Ibrahim Mahama is a Ghanaian artist, and we're speaking to him about the incident with respect to alleged assault that happened a few weeks ago in Tamale. And he says for him and his family, they're waiting on the police for justice on that and how the investigation has gone so far. We are going to speak to Dr. Steve Mantiao. I mentioned earlier that we're to have a conversation on that is the Dama mining lease, yes, and so he's joined us, and we are definitely going to be speaking with him in a bit, and then we will take a break, and then when we come back, we should have that conversation with that is Dr. Steve Mantiao on this. In fact, he posted that it was open, it was competitive, the tech financial criteria was made public, 4 bids were submitted, and the best won. Also, I've seen, going on that people are raising some concerns about how quick this went through. In fact, that is based on a press release issued on the 7th of April from the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, Emmanuel Amakofi-Boa, where it was confirmed that he had upheld the recommendations of a specialized tender committee, which identified engineers and planners as the most capable entity to extend the life of the Dama mine beyond the next decade. And EMP emerged victorious from a pool of 4 companies that submitted bids by the 31st of March deadline. According to the tender committee's report, EMP's proposal was the only one that fully satisfied the rigorous financial requirements, specifically demonstrating evidence of access to financing meeting the $500 million minimum threshold. And the committee also noted that EMP demonstrated superior technical knowledge of the Damang mine's unique geology and infrastructure, presenting a comprehensive plan to sustain operations for at least another 10 years. So that is the conversation that we'll be having now. And the co-chair of the Ghana Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative, Dr. Steve Mantiao, joins us on Zoom now. Doc, good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us here on the program. Okay, Doc, I'm unable to hear you. If you don't mute so we can have the conversation.
Yes, I said it's my pleasure to be on your program.
Right, great. I can hear you now. I've seen several posts of you on your Facebook. You seem to be excited about this this decision by the ministry.
Yes, I am. For the fact that for the first time, we're going to have an indigenous Ghanaian company mining our gold for us. This is long overdue. And so I'm excited about the development.
What does this do for us?
It does a lot in terms of value retention in the industry. A lot of times we compare Obuasi to Johannesburg and cry about the deplorable state of Obuasi. What we don't take into account is the fact that if you go to South Africa, about 95 to 98% of the companies mining gold in that country are South African companies. In fact, Goldfield itself is a South African company that has come into our country to mine gold and repatriate the profit back to South Africa. So for as long as we continue to play spectators rather than active participants in the extraction of our natural resources, most of the value in the sector will be repatriated to the countries of the companies that are mining the resources on our behalf.
This had become a topic for discussion based on the criteria also that was being looked at to be able to choose who wins this bid. My question is, in your assessment, do you think that the criteria or what was made known to choose the winner met global best practices?
Yes, first and foremost, let's make the point that the criteria, both technical and financial, were not conjured by anybody. This financial and technical criteria has been in our statute for a very long time, and they were lifted virtually from the LI. So one cannot complain about the criteria. This is what we have established in law. Besides that, I think we need substantial investments, and this diamante is not for children. So it was important that whoever won the bid has the financial muscle to undertake the necessary investments to bring returns to the state. So I think on the whole, I would say it's been fair to the extent that it complies with the legal provisions. Including the time frame? Well, time frame, we need to take into account the fact that the handing over of the mine is next week. And in fact, those companies that were interested in diamond had long prepared their bids, not this year, much earlier. And same with EMP, same with Vortex and all that. So those who were seriously eyeing the mine had their bids ready, and that is how come we got 4 of them applying. Time is short, and we didn't want to disrupt production. So the earlier you go through the bidding process and then choose whoever you want to hand over the mine to, the earlier and better for the economy.
That is where some persons have raised questions. The Natural Resource Governance Institute is saying that this is too quick. This was done unusually quick, and they're asking that the report be published. Are they not making a point there?
They are making a point because of the time constraint. But as I indicated, we're also working against a certain timeline, and that is 18th April for transfer of the mine to a new investor. We didn't want, if you delay the process, then it means mining or operations at the mine will come to a halt, and that will lead to a loss of time value of money. So we needed to be quick. And this, for me, this process has taught me that the length of time that most competitive bidding processes take need to be looked at again, because that was the reason for the supposed sole sourcing that has been going on in our road sector. If it is possible to quicken competitive processes, why don't we adopt it?
Right. In trying to look out for our own and having a local company take charge of that, how do we make sure that we do not burn that bridge with foreign investors as we're trying to look out for our own also?
Well, I don't think we'll be burning any bridges. Let's first face the fact that engineers and planners have been mining for Goldfield since 2017 thereabout. In fact, a time when his own brother, the president, was in opposition. If Goldfields found it fit to employ engineers and planners, then it means they fit the bill. Again, we are here talking about a company that has mined the world's biggest mining company, ArcelorMittal, in Liberia. If ArcelorMittal found its engineers fit for purpose, why not our country? And so for me, it's about participation. It's not about replacing foreign direct investment. It's about participation and equity in the extraction of a resource that belongs to us as Ghanaians.
Okay, and you're talking about what EMP has done over the years, and even mentioned what it's doing in Liberia. What can we expect?
It's done in Liberia.
Yes, what can we expect from EMP as they take over this mine, and even for the area? A lot of times we've spoken about how some of these areas who have these resources are usually underdeveloped and all of that. What do you think we should be seeing from them as they take over the mine?
I don't expect anything to change. The fiscal terms will remain, corporate social responsibility obligations will remain, community development issues will have to be addressed as they have been in the past. In fact, most community people have brought testimonies to the fact that even before winning this bid, engineers and planners have been supporting the various communities in the catchment area. So we expect engineers and planners to continue. What I expect from the state is support for the work of this new company. Let's recognize that it's our own company and we have a responsibility to support it to succeed.
Okay, and for future mining leases, I mean, you've talked about how quick we can go through some of these competitive tenders, where some persons are of the opinion that it's not so, it's just a facade. It was always going to be going to EMP.
To those who say this was just a facade, I asked them, which of the companies, the competitors, actually is superior in terms of technical capacity and financial capability than engineers and planners? If they tell me which of the three losing bids are superior to EMP, then I'll agree.
Okay, so for now we're just waiting.
But going forward, I have an advice for government.
Right, please go ahead.
Okay, we need to increase the Ghanaian participation in our industry. By doing that, we need to take into account the need to prevent political risks that are usually associated with these kinds of contracts. First and foremost, we need to ensure that all leases or concessions that become available are put to open competitive processes in terms of its award. Secondly, if we can, and that's for me the best way to deal with the political risk, let us pull together companies from both sides of the political divide. Whether we acknowledge it or not, some mining companies are seen to be affiliated to one party or the other. Rockshore, for instance, is seen to be associated or affiliated to the MPP, whereas engineers and planners seems to be aligned to the NDC for obvious reasons. Now, can we, as a country, pull these companies together? There's another one that is also doing pretty well, that's Rabotech. Can we pull these companies together to form a consortium and hand them over our priceless concessions to mine for the country? In that case, should government change hands, there's no way there's going to be any witch hunting, and they'll have the peace of mind to operate.
Okay, that is also a very good suggestion to make there, in fact, so that we can have all of it, not just in the mining space. It's one of the things that, as a country, I guess we've allowed that to eat into every sector, every space, where things are being looked at from a political lens, and then it gets to destroy a lot of things that we could do together as a people. So I understand that perfectly. Now, in your capacity as a co-chair for the Ghana Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative, I would ask you a question about the ministry led by Emmanuel Amakufibua and what's been done so far in his ministry. You have been impressed?
Yes, I have been very, very much impressed for the simple fact that the minister seems to have an open mind about the sector. He's been very responsive to CSO inputs. We've had a lot of meetings with him. He listens, he takes advice, and sometimes you see clearly he incorporates your advice into what he does. I think governments that operate that way will attract very little criticism. And I will encourage that he continues to listen. Ghanaians do not know what engagement have gone on behind the scenes to get to where we are now with Damai. But I just want to say that the minister has been very, very responsive to advice and to inputs from stakeholders and civil society. Right.
So for now, we'll just be waiting for the report. At least that will do some good for us in terms of transparency, so that all doubts about this can be taken away, right?
Exactly. And this is one advice we've also offered the minister, that the outcome of the bid process is made public, is published for all Ghanaians to see for themselves. We are very happy and very appreciative on behalf of the Ghana Extractive Industry Transparency Initiative that made initial proposals in terms of what options to consider in offloading their mine to a new investor. We say thank you to the minister for being this receptive.
Right. And just before you go, as we talk about gold, there was the issue about the lithium also and all the things that came with it. How do you think we should go ahead with that one also? Because we're talking about what the country can get from that, and so we need to negotiate, well for ourselves as a country also. Going forward with that deal, how should we go about it?
I think that matter has been concluded through the passage of a new LI to regulate the payment of royalties.
Right.
What gladdens my heart is the fact that we opted for a sliding scale. You see, in the oil sector, we do not have a sliding scale. We have actually fixed royalty rates. But this is because in the oil sector, we have a provision to take care of windfall tax, okay? So that when prices go far and over beyond what we project, we are able to trim off a bit of the returns that otherwise would have gone to the company. And so we introduced an additional oil entitlement to take care of that. In the mining sector, we do not have any windfall tax or additional mineral entitlement. And so in the absence of that, the only equitable mechanism you can put in place is the sliding scale, so that when the prices go up, we all enjoy equitably. And then when the prices come down, we all lose, again, equitably. And I think it's a fair option to go for. The only concern I have, which I would wish going into the future the government would take a look at, is the bans. There's a price change after every $500 increase in price. I think that it's too close. If we go for a $1,000 price band for every change, that would be, for me, more accommodating for both parties, for government and also for companies.
Right. Dr. Steve Mantell, thank you very much for your time on Good Afternoon Ghana. He is co-chair of the Ghana Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative, a policy analyst, also speaking to us there about the Daman mining lease. And that's how we're wrapping up the show for the afternoon. But a bit of an update on the violent altercation that happened at the Ajin Kotoku Onion Market. Let me read what the Ghana Police Service has put out, and then we can wrap up on the show. So it says that the police on manhunt for suspects involved in Kotoku Market disturbance. The Accra Regional Police Command has launched a manhunt to identify and arrest persons involved in a disturbance and unlawful discharge of firearms at the Kotoku Onion Market within the Ajin Kotoku district of the Amasaman division. Preliminary information indicates that tension arose among 5 onion sellers associations over disagreements regarding the distribution of onions supplied by foreign traders, which led to the heightened unrest within the market. On 6th April 2026, a clash broke out between some members of the associations, during which gunshots were heard from an unidentified location. Police officers responded promptly to the scene. However, the individuals responsible for the gunfire could not immediately be traced. On the same day, a team from the region deployed patrol teams to the area to maintain order, while efforts were underway to engage the leadership of the various associations to de-escalate the situation. However, police patrols have been intensified in the area to prevent any further disturbances. The police have engaged the leadership of the 5 associations and have assured their cooperation in maintaining peace and order. The Accra Regional Police Command cautions the public against engaging in acts of violence and unlawful use of firearms and urges all parties to resolve disputes through lawful means. The command assures the public that the situation remains under control and continues to be closely monitored. Cited by the head of public affairs, Accra Region, Ms. Juliana Obing. Right, so this is the update from the Ghana Police Service on that. Last night on Newsnight, we spoke to the PRO for the Onion Sellers Association Accra, Mustafa Damino, where he mentioned that there was a meeting with the Trade Minister and also the IGP on that. And today, we're going to allow the trucks that had come in to offload, and then we'll see what will happen there. We'll definitely be keeping tabs on that and bring you more details of that subsequently. On that note, today is the birthday of David Brown, also known as Kiki. He's a director. Yeah. Happy birthday to you, Kiki. God bless you as you celebrate your birthday. And also to Heidi Amesimeku. Today is your birthday also. She's a camera technician with us here at Ignite Media Metro TV. So happy birthday to both of you. God bless you. My name is Desmond Okreku. So many thanks for watching the show. We're back tomorrow, 12 p.m. Enjoy the rest of our programs. Bye.
From finding your dream home to building a legacy for your family, the Homeowner Show has been your trusted guide.
How sure are you what you're getting is the right land? And it has to do with searches, land commission, checking social planning